A lot has
Thank you.
been made of the images that we're seeing, especially of these three leaders coming out of Beijing. But what sort of message did China want to send to the world?
Thank you very much for having me. I think the great success of the summit meeting of the SEO held in Tianjin is very significant, especially in the context of the world situation today. Meaning the SEO wants to promote multilateralism, multipolarity, and encourage international cooperation among its members, as well as in the global south. In contrast to the position of certain country, which really wants to impose its version of the truth onto all the other countries, sometimes even by holding a gun at the head of other countries. This is the sharp contrast in the world of today. And I think the multipolarity is very much believed by all the SCO members as the megatrend of the world of today, and no country should really indulge in the fantasy that it is the sole polarity in the world of today.
Do you, you talk there about a certain country. Xi Jinping criticized the bullying behavior, and I'm quoting him. He said the bullying behavior of other countries that was interpreted as a veiled stab at the United States and Donald Trump.
Well, I don't think it is veiled. It's very explicit. I think there is only one country in the world which really is bullying around among many countries in the world. For example, launching this the world tariff war, which is the wrong war to launch. And then it tries to impose itself on top of other countries as if whatever it dictates should be the real truth. This is not the rule of law that most of us really wants to live in. This is kind of restoration of the law of the jungle in a sense. And I think the SEO, which operates completely on consensus basis, and if any member state does not like what is being discussed, they can actually use its own veto power to bring the whole thing to a halt. I think this is truly a very democratic way of exercising collective leadership for more than 24 countries altogether, gathered together, which represent kind of half of the population in the world and quite a chunk of global economy. And I think it draws more and more magnetic attraction to many other countries in the world because they want to have a piece of this collective leadership and they want to have their own voice made known to the rest of the world rather than being dictated by one single big power.
Mr. Gao, do you think that Beijing then would view, and I mean Beijing, not Beijing, Taiwan would view Xi Jinping talks about bullying behavior. Taiwan would view the behavior of Beijing as bullying. And the United States Republican senators, a couple of them traveled to Taipei on Friday. They talked about the absolute need for Taiwan to remain free and preserve self-determination. In many ways, you're criticizing the United States for their bullying behavior, but there are certain countries, and certainly Taiwan views China as a bully.
No, I think all of us on the eve of the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the victory against fascism, we all need to remind ourselves that the one China policy and Taiwan being considered as part of China has been carved in stone as a legacy of the victory over Nazi Germany and Japanese fascism. Because if you read the Cairo Declaration and the Potsdam Proclamation, they all dictate that when Japan unconditionally surrender, Japan needs to surrender Taiwan back to China. This is the legal status. Taiwan has been part of China ever since the Cairo Declaration and the Potsdam Proclamation were made known to the world. And no one should pretend that Taiwan is separate from China. Taiwan is very much part of China. And this is the legacy of the victory of the Second World War.
So the military parade we're likely to see, is that also to signal to the United States that if it does intervene in any way, if China were to make a move on Taiwan, China is ready to escalate this further?
The military parade on September the 3rd will be, in my judgment, the most important military parade in human history. It will showcase the best military weapons, hardware, software, drones, robotics of all kinds. The underlying message is to promote peace, meaning no country in the world should ever dare to impose war of any kind on China. And China will remain a very important force for peace, including force protecting peace across the two sides of the Taiwan Strait, meaning nobody, no country should be allowed to intervene in the cross-strait relations because it's purely a domestic, internal Chinese affair. It is not a situation involving two sovereign and independent countries, and no foreign country should be allowed to interfere and intervene in the internal matters of one China.